referring to India as cow dung mixed with laddus and God knows what not. Very uncivilized language for a deputy minister to be using.
It's absolutely deplorable, the comments which are coming out from sections of Maldives.
It is better for us to engage with Maldives.
India not only helps the economy of Maldives through our tourism, right? We also provide them security.
How can somebody in the Maldives not know the difference between scuba diving and snorkeling?
For leadership people in Maldives to pass such comments on India is, I think, absolutely uncalled for.
First, let's look at the genesis of this. This all started off because the Indian Twitter commentariat decided to start comparing, the Prime Minister's visit to the Lakshadweep as some kind of a counter to Maldives, which it absolutely was not. The development of tourism in India is completely sui generis. It has nothing to do with the Maldives or in response to the Maldives, because that implies that we've kept the Lakshadweep war as a sort of response to the Maldives. Now, when Twitterati are fighting, Maldivian Twitterati versus Indian Twitterati, the real question is, why did members of the Maldivian government decide to get involved in all of this? Because Indian Twitterati are not the Indian government. Government involvement is a completely different ballgame, and this is the first big question: why did they get involved? The second question is, once they did get involved, what is the kind of language that government officials are using? Referring to India as cow dung mixed with laddus and God knows what not. Very uncivilized language for a deputy minister to be using. The issue is, the appalling lack of knowledge that seems to be displayed by the Maldivian tourism industry. Because you see, what's been happening is that they've been tweeting that the average Western traveler spends $2,500, whereas the average Indian traveler only spends $750. That is true, but that entire $750 goes into the Maldivian economy because the price bracket at which Indian travelers go to the Maldives is entirely localized. Whereas all those Western companies, they make all their profits skimming off, and these are huge profit margins. There is no way a suite in the Maldives costs $15,000 a night. Out of that, maximum, say, $200-300 are going into the Maldivian economy, and the remaining $14,500 would be going into the pockets of these Western multinational corporations that run hotels out there. Second, the minister and both the ministers in question, despite being Maldivians, didn't even seem to know the difference between scuba diving and snorkeling and the gear required. So there's really appalling lack of knowledge of the tourism industry and of tourism itself and of diving itself. Now, it's like saying, how can somebody in the Maldives not know the difference between scuba diving and snorkeling? In India, it's still fine. But in the Maldives, really? And how are these people even ministers? Fourth, the question is, why has the Indian High Commission even taken this up? This should have been dealt with proactively.
It's absolutely deplorable, the comments which are coming out from sections of Maldives. Also, let's remember, it's not everyone in Maldives is criticizing India. There is one section which is anti-India, which seems to be, and which is passing such remarks. It's absolutely deplorable and absolutely, of course, India not only helps the economy of Maldives through our tourism, right? We also provide them security. If you remember, way back in 1988, there was a coup in Maldives where India sent its forces, and within hours the coup was stopped. So for the national security of Maldives, India is the neighbor right across. As well as there have been times when there was an acute water shortage in Maldives. Even being an island, drinking water is a problem. So there was an acute shortage, and India sent, our aircrafts and our navy with bottled water. So for leadership people in Maldives to pass such comments on India is, I think, absolutely uncalled for. Dignity and national dignity first. And towards that, what Akshay Kumar is saying, I think the next holiday Akshay Kumar should take should be in Lakshadweep. Right? See, the destinations get prominence, come to be known, and more tourists follow if the destination is branded and marketed well and there's a good infrastructure. So as more and more influencers from India, leading names, start visiting Lakshadweep, the tourism sector and tourism economy of Lakshadweep, and this has nothing to do with Maldives. We should be promoting our own destination and our own tourism economy. India has so much of a diversity all across the nation, right? From mountains and rivers to snows and deserts and beaches. So if more of our celebrities, influencers like Akshay Kumar start visiting such locations, that will definitely boost our own economy. And I would say that let us not even think about Maldives, that you're promoting Lakshadweep for Lakshadweep.
In diplomacy, it's important to not to aggravate anything with tit for tat. You know what I mean? We can comfortably ignore these statements. You know what I mean? That's one thing. Second thing is we have to understand why he said it. And that is in the larger context. That is, after the new president came into office in Maldives, there was a demand made that India should withdraw the military force it has. It's a tiny military force. When you say military force, no. It's about, I don't know, 70 or 70 plus. You know what I mean? And that too, mainly helicopters. For what? Medical emergencies. Because Maldives doesn't have enough hospital capacity for serious medical emergencies for its population, or for that matter, for the large number of tourists. Of course, there is also coastal waters, the arrangement to do a surveillance. So all this was agreed into when there was another government in Maldives. Now, so my view is that I'm not privy to all the facts because I'm not in the government. My view is that it is better for us to engage with Maldives and sort of, withdraw the forces in a particular manner rather than insist, that we won't withdraw. Because now the Maldives president is going first to China. We have to think of the consequences of our action or inaction. Another thing is that if we withdraw the helicopters primarily doing emergency medical operations, well, what about if you are a foreign tourist? Will you go to Maldives if you are not sure that you can get emergency medical aid? You know what I mean? So there again, I would say that Maldives, India should propose to Maldives, well, we will arrange for a private Indian company to do it for you. So that, there is no impact on your tourism.